Hello and a very good evening. You're watching the news tonight on Rajya Sabha television with me, Frank Pereira. Here are the headlines. BJP President Amit Shah initiates debate on the motion of thanks on the President's address in the Rajya Sabha. In his maiden speech in Parliament, says that Modi government has taken over 50 historical decisions to complete the agenda of the India growth story that's been left unfinished by previous governments. In his 75-minute-long speech, Amit Shah targets the Congress and the opposition over its criticism on unemployment and the goods and services tax rollout, asks all parties to cooperate in making the Triple Talaq bill into a law. Rajya Sabha sits beyond the stipulated time of 6 p.m. to complete scheduled business. Opposition counters government statements on development. Supreme Court implements its new roster system of allocating matters to judges. Chief Justice keeps public interest litigation cases with himself. And Finance Secretary Hasmukh Adhia attributes weak global sentiment to the continuing decline in markets. Sensex sheds over 300 points on Monday. BJP President Amit Shah on Monday made his maiden speech by initiating the motion of thanks to the President's address in the Rajya Sabha. In his 75-minute-long speech, the BJP President listed the NDA government's achievements on various fronts. Shah also touched upon a host of measures taken by the government, ranging from power supply, toilets, gas, employment and health facilities to the people. Here's more.
In his maiden speech in Parliament, BJP President and MP Amit Shah on Monday initiated the discussion on the motion of thanks to the President's address in Rajya Sabha. Speaking about the achievements of the NDA government, the BJP chief reiterated the government's commitment towards the upliftment of the poor and the vulnerable sections of society. Shah said that in a mere 3.5 years, the Narendra Modi government had taken more than 50 landmark decisions to complete the development agenda that was left unfinished by previous governments.
सरकारें जब 25-30 साल चलती है, तब 2-3 ऐसे बड़े काम होते हैं कि जिसको इतिहास में दर्ज करना पड़ता है. ये सरकार 3.5 साल चली है. 50 से ज्यादा ऐसे काम है जिसको इस देश के इतिहास में स्थान मिला.
The BJP chief said that the NDA government is determined to assist farmers at every step of the way. Underscoring the government's resolve to doubling their incomes, he listed out the Modi government schemes for farmers, including irrigation works and e-mandis. Shah informed that in 2016-17, over 5 crore farmers benefited from Prime Minister Modi's Fasal Bima Yojana.
किसान को अपनी लागत से 1.5 गुना समर्थन मूल्य देना. और सबको लगता था ये पॉलिटिकल नारा है. एक पार्टी होती थी तो इसके खिलाफ दूसरी पार्टी उपयोग करती थी, दूसरी पार्टी आती थी तो पहली पार्टी उपयोग करती थी. अब हमने व्यवस्था करी, इसका उपयोग कोई नहीं कर पाएगा क्योंकि प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने हर फसल के लिए, रबी हो या खरीफ हो, उसकी लागत से 1.5 गुना समर्थन मूल्य देने का निर्णय लिया है. मैं मानता हूं.
Targeting the UPA government, Amit Shah said that many parties and people had come to power using the plank of poverty alleviation, but only Modi government did anything to eradicate poverty in India. In this regard, Shah mentioned the Jan Dhan bank accounts and work done to bring electricity to 16,000 out of the 18,000 villages without power. Shah mentioned that the NDA government gave 3 crore 30 lakh women gas cylinders, besides work in the fields of health, sanitation and employment facilities.
मैं मानता हूं इस देश में बेरोजगारी की समस्या है, मगर 55 साल आपके शासन करने के बाद भी अगर ये समस्या है तो मैं कहना चाहता हूं इसका समाधान किसने नहीं ढूंढा. हम तो 6 साल, 7 साल, 8 साल से काम कर रहे हैं. ये देश का चलाने का सौभाग्य हमें 8 साल के लिए मिला है. इतनी विकराल समस्या कोई 8 साल में नहीं हुई है. 55 साल जिस पार्टी ने इस देश पर शासन किया वो आज समस्या उठा रही है. इसका मुझे आनंद है, मगर हमने इसका समाधान ढूंढा.
In his 75-minute-long speech, Shah also spoke about the surgical strikes, which he called a historic moment when the world changed its view about India. He said this government gave the armed forces the power it needs to stand up to threats. Panchanand Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, in his debut speech in the Rajya Sabha, BJP President Amit Shah said the GST is one of the biggest reforms in the country. He also criticized the stand of the Congress on the issue of triple talaq, even as he pitched for simultaneous assembly and Lok Sabha elections.
Praising the implementation of the goods and services tax as one of the biggest achievements of his party, BJP MP Amit Shah lashed out at the opposition Congress over its criticism of the one nation, one tax system. Shah maintained that the BJP had never opposed the GST when the UPA was in power, even as he accused the Congress of approving the implementation of the GST in council meetings but opposing it in Parliament.
गब्बर सिंह टैक्स जाता कहां है? ये जीएसटी जाता कहां है सभापति महोदय? वन रैंक वन पेंशन देने के लिए वो जवान के बैंक अकाउंट में जाता है, शहीद की विधवा के बैंक अकाउंट में जाता है सभापति महोदय, गरीब महिला को उज्ज्वला योजना देने के लिए जाता है, गरीब को घर देने के लिए जाता है सभापति महोदय, सौभाग्य योजना के तहत उसको बिजली देने में जाता है। लोगों को कर देने के लिए न उकसाना ये अच्छी राजनीति की निशानी है।
Shah also targeted the Congress-led opposition on hindering the passage of the anti-triple talaq bill in the Rajya Sabha.
साहबानू के केस में भी फैसला दिया था, तब कानून बनाकर उसको रोकने का काम कांग्रेस पार्टी ने किया। ऐसा नहीं है कि इस बार भी आपने विरोध नहीं किया, अभी आप खड़े होकर कहोगे। विरोध का तरीका अलग है, मगर है विरोध ही जब देश की सरकार, इस देश के प्रधानमंत्री मुस्लिम महिलाओं को अधिकार देने के लिए, उनको समानता का अधिकार देने के लिए, उनकी सामाजिक सुरक्षा देने के लिए जब ट्रिपल तलाक का बिल लेकर आए, राज्यसभा में इसको रोक दिया गया।
Shah said that there hasn't been a single allegation of corruption against the BJP government in the past 3.5 years. Terming dynastic politics, casteism and politics of appeasement as the biggest challenges facing the nation, Amit Shah maintained that Prime Minister Modi had made these issues irrelevant in the national discourse. He also appealed to all political parties to cooperate on the issue of simultaneous polls.
कि इस देश में बारंबार चुनाव के कारण विकास में बाधा होती है। चुनाव एक साथ होने चाहिए। पंचायत से लेकर पार्लियामेंट तक चुनाव अगर एक साथ होते हैं, विधानसभा और लोकसभा के चुनाव एक साथ होते हैं, तो काफी खर्च में भी बचत होगी और बारंबार जो चुनावी आचार संहिता आती है, इसके कारण विकास की बाधा भी समाप्त होगी। मेरा सभी लोगों से एक अनुरोध है कि इस पर एक अच्छी बहस देश में हम छेड़े, सभी दल इसमें हिस्सा लें और एक साथ चुनाव के लिए आगे आए।
Shah touched upon a host of measures taken by the government, ranging from toilets, education, employment and health facilities to the people. Panchanand Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, many other leaders in the House also took part in the debate on the motion of thanks for the President's address. Let's listen in.
इस सरकार का पहला पहलू है कि पॉलिटिक्स थ्रू इंस्पिरेशन, प्रेरणा के आधार पर राजनीति। अध्यक्ष महोदय, ये इसलिए महत्वपूर्ण है कि देश में विचारधारा की प्रेरणा पर काम करने वाले बहुत कम राजनीतिक दल हैं। दूसरी बात है कि गवर्नेंस थ्रू इनोवेशन, नवाचार के आधार पर शासकता का परिचय, ये इस सरकार का एक महत्वपूर्ण योगदान रहा है। और तीसरी बात है ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन थ्रू इंप्लीमेंटेशन।
ये सरकार हर बात पे कहती है कि हमारी सरकार गेम चेंजर है। गेम चेंजर नहीं है, नेम चेंजर है। जितनी भी स्कीमें, जितनी भी योजनाएं 1985 या उसके बाद कांग्रेस शासन में, यूपीए शासन में बनी थी, उनके नाम बदल दिए। 15 आवास योजना 1985 में बनी थी, ये 15 एनडीए आने के बाद प्रधानमंत्री आवास योजना, ग्रामीण आवास योजना बन गई। राज्य आवास योजना 2009 में, सेंट्रली स्पॉन्सर्ड स्कीम 2013 में बन गई। ये सरदार पटेल नेशनल हाउसिंग अर्बन मिशन बन गया।
कालाधन की आपने बात करी, नोटबंदी में क्या मिला हमें, हम फाइनेंस कमेटी में आज तक रिजर्व बैंक बता ही नहीं पा रही है कि नोटबंदी में मिला क्या। फाइनेंस कमेटी की रिपोर्ट नहीं तैयार हो पा रही है, इस मारे की रिजर्व बैंक कुछ बता ही नहीं पा रही कि क्या हुआ। RTI का जवाब भी नहीं, 99% वो स्वीकार कर रहे हैं, हमें लगता है 101% हो गया, क्योंकि जो नकली नोट था वो कहाँ है, वो तो कहीं है ही नहीं।
वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमिक फोरम इंक्लूसिव डेवलपमेंट इंडेक्स 2018 हाल में निकला, इस महीना निकला, उसके अनुसार 6 out of 10 इंडियंस still live on less than $3.20 per day। और यहाँ जीडीपी ग्रोथ रेट का, FDI का कहानी सुनाया जा रहा है।
The proceedings of the upper house were disrupted in the morning session on Monday. Samajwadi Party members raised the issue of law and order in Uttar Pradesh, while the AAP members raised the Delhi ceiling drive issue. As the opposition protests continued, the chairman adjourned the house till 2 p.m. Kriti Mishra reports.
Both the 0 hour and the question hour were washed away on Monday due to protests by opposition members. Samajwadi Party member Naresh Agarwal raised the issue of law and order in Uttar Pradesh, while Sanjay Singh of the Aam Aadmi Party demanded the ceiling drive in Delhi be kept on hold. The chair urged the members to give appropriate notices to raise the issues and allow the House to function.
He asked them to go back. Please, I said, nobody can dictate to me. आप लोग वापस जाइए, please. You please, it's a waste of your energy, nothing is going to happen. And half members, you got elected only 1 week back, and you come to the well of the house. This is not adding to the glory of the house. Please, go back to your seats.
Amid the din, Derek O'Brien of the Trinamool Congress raised the issue of closure of 8 rail routes in West Bengal through a 0 hour submission.
There are 8 railway routes in Bengal which have been stopped by the Indian Railways. This has caused a lot of hardship to passengers. The 8 routes are Burdwan, Katwa, Sonarpur, Canning, Shantipur, Nawadip Ghat, Barashat, Barbipur, Baliganj, Bajbog, Kollani, Shimanta, Shialda and Bhimgam. Sir, these 8 routes have been stopped by the Indian Railways. This is causing a lot of hardship to the people there, and this is making a mockery of federalism.
As the opposition Samajwadi Party and the Aam Aadmi Party continue to protest, the chair adjourned the House till 2 p.m. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Up to 2 p.m. in the afternoon.
Meanwhile, the lower house was adjourned for the day after paying tributes to BJP member Hukum Singh, who passed away on Saturday. Soon after the House met, 3 newly elected members took oath or affirmation in the Lok Sabha. Karan Singh Yadav of the Congress, who won the Lok Sabha by-poll from Alwar parliamentary constituency, took oath. Raghu Sharma of the Congress, who won from Ajmer parliamentary constituency in Rajasthan, also took oath. Sajda Ahmed of the TMC, who won from the Uluberia parliamentary constituency in West Bengal, also took oath today.
And that I will faithfully discharge the duty upon which I am about to enter.
यह सभा दिवंगत आत्मा के सम्मान में कुछ देर मौन खड़ी रही।
Speaker Sumitra Mahajan made the obituary reference to Hukum Singh, who represented Kairana constituency in Uttar Pradesh. 79-year-old Singh was also the chairperson of the Standing Committee on Water Resources and member of General Purposes Committee of the Lok Sabha. The House stood in silence as a mark of respect to the departed soul.
श्री हुकुम सिंह का निधन 3 फरवरी 2018 को 19वीं वर्ष की आयु में नोएडा उत्तर प्रदेश में हुआ। हम अपने साथी के निधन पर गहरा शोक व्यक्त करते हैं। मुझे विश्वास है कि शोक संतप्त परिवार के प्रति अपनी संवेदना व्यक्त करने में यह सभा मेरे साथ है। अब यह सभा दिवंगत आत्मा के सम्मान में कुछ देर मौन खड़ी रही।
Well, shifting focus to other news now, with a view to support the cause of Palestine, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit Palestine on the 10th of February. While there is a mood of excitement in the Palestinian side, as this is the first ever visit of any Prime Minister of India, Palestinian ambassador in India, Adnan Abu al-Eja, told Rajya Sabha TV that India should take the lead in mediating between Palestine and Israel for early resolution of the issue. He said such an initiative from India will help Palestine to be an independent nation on the world map. Let's listen in.
For the first time, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to visit Palestinian land. And here with me is Ambassador of Palestine, Adnan Abu al-Eja. Ambassador, Prime Minister is going to visit your country. How do you feel about it? How excited are Palestinians about it?
Allow me at the beginning to welcome you on our embassy here. And I'm very proud that I have announced his visit from your TV. The visit of the Prime Minister, His Excellency Mr. Narendra Modi, to Palestine is historical. I think he is the first Indian Prime Minister visiting Palestine. So we are very happy, and we are looking to strengthen the strong relation between India and Palestine. And for the Palestinian, it was always, India is a very important country. Especially India is supporting the Palestinian cause for independence on the land of 1967 with East Jerusalem as its capital. And we are looking in the future to see India one of the country who are looking and working at the peace process.
Okay, right, Ambassador, but this is also a fact that when people go to Palestine, they have to take visa from Israel. Is it very strange to Indian that why going to Palestine needs to get visa from Israel?
I think it's strange for the whole world. Most of the people in the world, they don't know that the Palestinian people under the Israeli occupation, they are not free. Even the president himself, when he want to move inside Palestine or outside Palestine, he should have take a permission from the Israelis.
Sir, do you think that India can and India should play any role? Because given the fact that India is also friendly to Israel and India has been traditionally friendly to Palestine, so is there any role for India in this?
For sure, there is very important role to India to play that. Especially, I'm sure that India could make pressure with, I call it a new relation, because it has really started as diplomatic relation in 1992, right? And I know that the Israelis are in need to India.
So, sir, India had never been in between Palestine and Israel. India had never played any role of mediator, but I think many other countries like America had been playing some role of mediator. So now do you think that India is in such a position to play some mediatory role?
I don't want to compare between India and United States, because United States in its policy has never been a mediator, right? They are supporting Israel only. They are supporting the project of Netanyahu, which he is looking to have the whole land and peace at the same time. India is another country. India, we're supporting the Palestinian cause and still supporting the Palestinian cause. So we are looking for a positive rule to be a mediator.
Well, the industry chamber, FICCI, organised a post-budget interactive session with Finance Minister and Finance Ministry officials. The Finance Minister said the budget articulates the government focus to provide maximum livelihood opportunities in rural areas. He also stressed that the National Health Protection Scheme to cover 10 crore poor families with 5 lakh health insurance will significantly increase healthcare facilities, particularly in smaller towns and villages. Calling GST a positive reform, Jaitley said that the process of rationalising tariffs would continue under the GST law.
The health schemes that were announced is a very ambitious one. And now in the next couple of months, expeditiously, we have to work towards putting the loose ends together and emerging out with the implementable idea behind the health scheme.
Well, in yet another ceasefire violation, Pakistan resorted to heavy shelling along the LOC in Jammu and Kashmir. Targeting Indian posts and civilian areas on Sunday, 4 Indian Army personnel, including a young Army captain, were killed in firing that continued through the night.
Pakistan violated ceasefire yet again in Jammu and Kashmir, resorting to heavy mortar shelling along the line of control in Rajouri and Poonch districts on Sunday. 22-year-old Army Captain Kapil Kundu and 3 Jawans have been killed as Pakistan continued firing through the night on Sunday in Bhimbar Gully sector of Rajouri district. At least 4 people, including one sub-inspector, were injured in the heavy firing. Pakistan also targeted forward posts and civilian areas in Manjakot and Naushera sectors of Rajouri and Shahpur in Poonch. As a precautionary measure, all schools in the area have been closed.
सभी प्रिकॉशन लिए गए हैं वहाँ पे मेडिकल इमरजेंसीज के लिए और बाकी जो भी लोगों को इवैक्यूएट करने की ज़रूरत है और 84 जो स्कूल्स हैं इस इलाके में वो आने वाले 3 दिन के लिए बंद रहेंगे। हम सिचुएशन को क्लोजली मॉनिटर कर रहे हैं। इसके बाद जो भी प्रिकॉशन लेने की ज़रूरत है या जो भी स्टेप्स लेने की ज़रूरत है इमरजेंसी रिस्पांस के लिए वो हम लेंगे।
As Indian forces retaliated effectively to Pakistani firing, Vice Chief of the Army Staff, Lieutenant General Sarat Chand, said India will continue to give a befitting reply to Pakistan. He also said that the Pakistani army is supporting infiltration by terrorists along the border.
There was a cross-border shelling going on, and one of the shells landed near the place where this officer and this men were, and unfortunately we've lost them, and we will continue with our process of giving a befitting reply. Pakistan army along the border has been supporting infiltration by terrorists.
Union Home Minister Rajnath Singh condemned the cross-border firing by Pakistan and said that Indians have full faith in the valor of our soldiers. Minister of State for Home Affairs Hansraj Ahir also condemned Sunday's ceasefire violation, saying that it will cost Pakistan dearly.
ये निश्चित है कि इसका जवाब दिया जाएगा। हम किसी हालत में छोड़ेंगे नहीं, हमारे सेना के जवान भी छोड़ेंगे नहीं, ना हमारे सुरक्षा बल के जवान छोड़ेंगे। पाकिस्तान की हरकतों को हम माफ नहीं करने वाले हैं।
Pakistan's ceasefire violations resonated in the Jammu and Kashmir Assembly too, which witnessed uproar on the issue. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, moving on now, the Supreme Court on Monday told Khap Panchayats not to be the conscience keeper of the society. It said that no Khap individual or society can question marriage of 2 people. The court also asked the central government and petitioners to come up with effective suggestions to protect couples in Khap Panchayat matters. A 3-judge bench headed by Chief Justice of India Deepak Mishra and comprising Justices A.M. Khanwilkar and D.Y. Chandrachud made the observation while hearing a petition seeking a ban on Khap Panchayats and guidelines to stop honour killings. The Chief Justice said, and I quote, "We can't say which marriage is null or void, which marriage is good or bad. Just stay out of it. 2 persons marry, they are adults. You are no one to interfere in it," unquote. This was the second time in less than a month that the top court came down on Khaps. Well, the Supreme Court on Monday implemented a roster system for the allocation of matters to judges. This is also for the first time that Chief Justice Deepak Mishra made the list of allotment of cases public. The order of the CJI was out on the official website of the Supreme Court. According to the roster, the Chief Justice has kept the public interest litigation cases to himself. Apart from this, the Chief Justice's bench will hear cases relating to service matters, social justice, elections, arbitration, criminal appeals, contempt, civil suits, appointments of constitutional officers and law officers and commissions of inquiry.
मुख्य न्यायाधीश ने इसमें से ट्रांसपेरेंसी एक है, फेयरनेस दूसरा है। तो ट्रांसपेरेंसी का मामला तो तय कर लिया उन्होंने कि चलिए अब हम इसको वेबसाइट पर डाल देते हैं, सारा देश जान ले, कोई चीज़ गुप्त नहीं है, सब इंसाफ देने का मामला जो है वो पूरे देश के सामने पहले ही रहे।
Well, moving on to some business news now. The Sensex and Nifty ended the session down by nearly 1% due to global sell-off and cautious stance adopted by investors ahead of the RBI monetary policy meet. The S&P BSE Sensex ended lower by 309.59 points, so 0.88%, at 34,757.16. The NSE Nifty ended down by 94.05 points or 0.87% at 10,666.55. Finance Secretary Hasmukh Adhia said that the sell-off in equity markets is due to a weak global sentiment and not because of long-term capital gains tax announced in the budget. He said the 10% tax on long-term capital gains is a subsidized rate. As such, gains on sale of unlisted scrips and immovable property are taxed at 20%. Well, in other news now, a 7-member parliamentary delegation from Chile today met Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu at Parliament House. The delegation was led by Fidel Espinosa, President of the Chamber of Deputies of Chile. The dignitaries were accompanied by Rajya Sabha Secretary Desh Deepak Verma. Both sides discussed the bilateral ties between the nations. The delegation was given a warm welcome at Parliament House as well. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu praised Miss World 2017 Manushi Chillar's campaign to promote women's sanitation. Miss World Manushi, along with Miss World Organization chairperson Julia Morley and a delegation of makers of sanitary napkins, met the Vice President on Monday. At the meeting, they briefed him about their epic humanitarian world tour aimed at promoting hygiene among women by encouraging the use of biodegradable sanitary napkins. Vice President Venkaiah Naidu said the eco-friendly and affordable high-quality sanitary napkins highlight both innovation and holistic approach to development. He said this campaign is a combination of beauty with purpose and freedom from shame. Well, the Governor of Meghalaya also met Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu on Monday. Governor Ganga Prasad called on the Vice President at his residence. Apart from this, newly appointed Election Commissioner Ashok Lavasa also met Vice President Venkaiah Naidu in Delhi. And finally, some sports news now. The Indian women's cricket team scored an emphatic 88-run win over South Africa in their first one-day international match at Diamond Oval, Kimberley. Set to make 214 to win, the South Africa women were never in the chase. Early breakthroughs, soft dismissals and judgment errors helped the Indian bowlers get on top. Shikha Pandey removed Lizelle Lee, Trisha Chetty and Mignon Dupree, while the spinners gave nothing away in the middle overs and added pressure. Dane van Niekerk provided resistance but was sent packing by Rajeshwari Gaikwad for 41. The second highest run scorer, Marizanne Kapp, departed for 23 to another spinner in Poonam Yadav. South Africa were all out for 125 in 42.3 overs. Earlier, electing to bat, India got off to a good start at one stage where 154 for 1. But thereafter, they conceded the momentum to South Africa with a lower order collapse. A few cameos took them to 213 for 7 in the allotted overs, which in the end proved just too much for the South Africans. India now have a 1-0 lead in the 3-match series. Well, that's it on this newscast. Good night.